Well, hello there. Greetings and salutations. It is I, Johnny of the Wizardcast, and this is the Who the Heaven Is I podcast, episode 5, season 2. Well, the numbers are kind of wonky just because sometimes I'll record an episode and technology changes, like the Spotify for podcaster creators, they call it now, app, which I use, no longer allows you to stitch two segments together. So this is actually the second episode 5. There's one on the cutting room floor that it didn't let me marry them together. And because of that, it's just easier to record a new episode about a different subject in a different time and a different place. And here we are. See, quantum living in effect. How you all doing today? It is Saturday, December 7th, 2024. And as we ramp up to the holiday season, things can get some pretty cray-cray. The hustle and bustle, all that good stuff. I think I may mention of it the other day in a post I did online. Things are cray-cray online, to be honest with you. Because I tried doing a live stream and on Instagram, which I used to do all the time, play some music and do that whole thing. And I did the live stream, and then when I went to upload it, it was like error, 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 error. And I'm like, what the funk? Like, why is it all funky and stuff? So the good thing is, because I was recording another copy on my iPad, because Facebook was all wonky because they don't let you record in landscape mode. You make you go vertical in portrait mode. I was like, I don't want to record like that. I want a nice wide shot of me playing the keyboard, not up and down. And so I ended up just recording it. But then when I went to upload that got all wonky. It wouldn't let me do the titles. It wouldn't let me make the edit. It was just hashtag super fail. So I work in technology, so that's a problem, because think about all the other millions of people using these apps that don't work in technology and can't figure a way around it, and then they lose their shiznit because it's like, I can't get my live stream going. And it's like, I get it. Like, they don't make it easier. So much like my friend Ricky, who has an astrology app, and he has two of them, actually. I found this out. He's got one that's public facing, and he's like, well, so the other apps just don't work the way I want, so I made one for myself, because he likes to do charts and stuff. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an app for live streaming, and I'll do it for myself, because I think there's a better way. And then maybe I'll share it with people if it's cool and share worthy, because the last thing I want to do is, start a feud like WordPress versus WordPress engine. Apparently that's a thing. I didn't know until my buddy Dave commented on my post, or my performance, because I did finally get the post up, but that's a whole other thing. I could only get it up on Facebook. It wouldn't load on Instagram. It's just a fractured society. And this stuff's supposed to be like fluid. I mean, come on. Mark Zuckerberg will take our money and then he doesn't show up. I mean, come on. Those guys are all talk in Silicon Valley. I mean, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fought sooner than the whole Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg thing, which, let's face it, it's probably never going to happen, right? Those guys just like to blow smoke up our cooloos. But that's why I gotta make my way out west, so I can be a cowboy, a digital cowboy. I just think that there needs to be a lifeguard at the pool of knowledge, not to tell people they can't swim, but so they don't drown the people just sunbathing on the beach, because that's what's happening. They're overloading us with technology to the point where people are going bonkers. I mean, there's so many, like, do a little thing today. When you get out of this podcast, see how many things in your technology don't work, or make it more challenging than things used to be. The easiest example I do, and this is kind of like the thing, right? Like with music, it used to be so easy. You're jamming to a CD, you get in your friend's car, you pop the CD in, and boom, you're both listening. Or you got the CD, and this is, I'm saying, going early '90s, and you compile a tape cassette and you give it to a friend and go, hey, I made a mixtape for you, and they can easily put that on their cassette player and listen to it. Easy, easy, easy. Now it's like, what platform are you using? Do you have premium? Oh, that platform doesn't have these tracks by this artist, and it's not fluid. Now there are tools, right? So, as an audiophile, a technophile, I'm not in denial. I use two apps. The main one I use is SongShift, because I'll be honest with you, the free Your Music app, which used to be something else, I paid for lifetime premium on it, and then they shafted me, because that's what Silicon Valley will do to you. They'll take stuff, they'll make things set so you get bought into it, and then they giveth and they taketh away. And then the music sometimes changes too. So I made a mixed CD for an ex-girlfriend back in, I guess it was, the year 2000 or 2001, right around there. And it had an Enrique Iglesias, Whitney Houston song, Can I Have This Kiss Forever? Such a beautiful, sultry, heartfelt song. And nowadays, that cannot be found. Like, if you look for that version, it's not out there. I mean, now this was when I looked for it about a year ago, and I was making another mix, and I thought I'd be good on that mix. Now the date today, once again, is December 7th, 2024, and things could have changed. Maybe they put it back. Maybe they didn't. My friend Brian Beatrice, who is an audio engineer, audiophile, heavy metal aficionado, told me this whole thing about like some of the Ozzy stuff, the way it was produced. Certain thing couldn't go into the library a certain way. They had to re-upload. I don't know. I don't remember the whole story. I just remember it just sounded like cray-cray. Like, you buy a CD, that doesn't change. No one comes to your house and takes it and puts another one out there and goes, oh, I'm sorry, the CD you were listening to is no longer valid. No, it just worked. And so I don't want to get too much into Future 86 stuff, because this is totally like in alignment with my disposable lifestyle movie, Future 86, which I should really focus on that podcast. I mean, I've got 60 some odd episodes for the Who the Heaven Is I. And to be honest with you, do the people care who the heaven is I? I mean, I don't. At first, I was getting some traction, and now it's like, I got a core group of people that listen to my show, but they're probably on one hand. On the other hand, are five fingers, and one of them is for you out there that listens but doesn't subscribe, and that's the thumbs up, because I love you, and I appreciate you at least giving it a listen. But smash that subscribe button. Share it with your friends if you're enjoying this episode or any of the episodes. I mean, I have a friend, newly acquainted friend, that I'm going to call you out, because you probably never listen to this based upon the behavior pattern that I see. Requested on her Facebook page, like, hey, who's got some good podcasts to listen to? And people, gave her like probably 30 podcasts to listen to. Now, of course, I'm a little biased. I did give her two, though, because she's into astrology. So I gave her my buddy Ricky's Curious Questions podcast, which is excellent. Need a revival on that, reboot. And then I gave her, obviously, the Who the Heaven Is I podcast. I gave her two because there are certain things we align on. One of those being Saturday Night Live, And I did an episode. You go through the archives. It's called SNYL, Some Not a Real Life. And then I also gave her, the radical optimism starts within, because that's a great uplifting and positive one, but it's done on May the 4th, and the trifecta, it's got some Saturday Night Live references. Yeah. Anyway, I never got listened to any of them. I don't even think that at this point she even remembers I have a podcast, possibly, but that's okay. I, and this is kind of where this episode, it's Saturday, so, mind over matter day, because mentally, with technology being so wonky and overloading, and we, especially in the United States, I know I got some international listeners, but in the United States, like, mental health prevention, like mental health issue prevention, I guess mental health care is not prevalent. There's a lot of groups out there for, like, after people get jacked up and they have problems, but like, how do we, like, beat it before it gets to us? Because to me, if you ain't got the mind, it don't matter. Ask The Rock and Wyclef. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's the track of the day. I would put that on my on my playlist for December, Johnny's Jams December 2K24. But I've used that before. Although I did put something else that I've used before. I'm not going to tell you what it is, so deal with it. But yeah, so I think, you don't see scars on the brain, like, physically, like just looking at someone, but you can see scars in the body. So people put so much focus on the physicality of this universe, as opposed to really getting nitty gritty and diving into, like, how to keep your mental health in the forefront. Like, you wake up in the morning, you go to the gym, right? Some people do that, or some people go for the walk or the bike ride or the yoga or the Pilates. So that's cool. Physicality, really good. In fact, as I'm doing this now, I'm going to start stretching my legs, because I'm back to my old format on the show where I just wake up and record. My voice sounds much better when I just wake up and record. I get that low bass and baritone sound. But more importantly, for my mental health, it just allows me just to kind of just get it out and put things out to the universe. And I think that's healthy. Even if no one ever listens to this, if I have grandkids one day, they go back and listen to it. Oh, Grandpappy used to have a podcast. I wonder what he was like. And then my kids, especially Tyler, be like, don't listen to it. No, I mean, Tyler supports me. But he's more conservative and Logan's more liberal. And I get why. The alignment of the parental units. But I is I. And I think going back to free will, that is, the lack of free will is the easiest way to take away life's thrill. And if you have people coming at you and trying to control you and tell you how you have to think and you need to be this, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes, especially if you're religious. Pump the brakes. And look at the people that are religious telling you, oh, you have to do this and do that. God gives us two things, all right? And I've said this in other episodes. Divine spark and free will. So, you spark yourself up in the morning and you get yourself excited and you do what you want to do within reason. I mean, like, I'm not saying, cause mass destruction and mass chaos. That then would be probably going against one of the 11 commandments, asterisk. That's a whole other story. I was helping my friend. I laughed because I was helping my friend Georgie the other day. He's got a new house and he wants me to help him wire his sound and his, internet and all that stuff. And the funny thing is, funny, is that he has a natural pool diving board, but it looks like huge tablets. And I go, hey, you have the missing three commandments. There are really 13 commandments because it's like two as the base and then the one as the diving board. True story. But, once again, if people try to suppress you from being who you are and acting how your natural form feels, say no to brain bullying. I think people will say, oh, this and that about going through life and people hurt them physically, but mentally is probably the worst, because then you curl up in a little ball, and you don't want to do anything. You just feel so like, am I worthy? And yes, you're all worthy. You wouldn't be here if you weren't worthy. Now, the key is, I find, finding yourself outside yourself. What does that mean? Well, like, I know myself. I'm a very eclectic individual, and sometimes I'll be too much for people with my positive energy, my positive vibes. Now, I said this in another episode, so I'm not going to repeat it. But, like, if you woke up and the sun was just poof right in your face the second you open the door, it would be too much. And I get that. So I will dial myself down earlier in the morning, per se, because I know that most people can't handle full-on John Fazio. Especially when the rooster is cocking or the cock is crowing or whatever. It's like, it's too much. I get that. But in the same token, a midday dose of iJohnny can be something that can enlighten and delighten you. Enlighten and delight you, not delighten, because that would be contrary to the light. But not being contrary to the light is being accepting of others when they're quote unquote weird, wacky, and wonderful. Because if you didn't accept people being different, then no one will accept your differences. And if you think you're just like everyone else, there's no such thing as everyone just like everyone else. We're all snowflakes, snowflake. And that's the truth. Like, and if we are exactly like other people, then we're not living life authentically, because there's no way, astrologically speaking, that anybody is the same. I wonder, that's a good question for my buddy Rick. Like, hey, have you ever seen two charts that are almost exactly the same? Because I found, and this is through my discovery phase, like, sometimes you have to detach from society. People sometimes get so bored and so lonely, they just want to hang out with people just for the sake of comfort. Like, I have this one friend that go over, and the whole time they're on their device and they're doing stuff, and you might be watching a movie together, but they're like on their phone. It's like, why am I even here? Like, if I'm not part of the equation, if I'm just someone like, Linus's blanket, then I'll buy you Linus's blanket. We'll be good. Call it a day, because I like to do things. I'm fine being by myself. Like, although I did go to the movies with a friend the other day, and it was a great experience. I often go to the movies by myself because, first off, when I'm at the movies, like, straight up, like, I don't like to talk, and we're aligned on that. Like, don't like to talk, and I just like to focus on the movie. I've been with people that just talk. My friend's kid, my friend's step kid, or I don't know what they call him. It's a weird thing over there, but it's like the kid came with us to go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, and the kid would not STFU, like, would not stop the frolicking unconditionally. Like, it was like there was nothing we could do to get this kid to stop talking. And I personally didn't even want to go see the movie on that day, Saturday, because I'm a Tuesday movie guy. Why? Less people in there, which means less chance for people to talk, because it's like amateur day at the movies. Everyone goes to the movies on Saturday. But Tuesday, it's kind of like, it's a quiet day during the week. Plus, For those that are frugal AF, frugal and funny, it's discounted. So there's that. And I'm reaching the 20-minute mark, and I want to keep these episodes to 15, 20 minutes. So mental health, really, really, really important. And I know there's 988, and 988 is great. If you're in a crisis, or if you're going through stuff, or if you know a friend that's going through stuff, or if you know a friend that's, you need support, it's there, right? But I do it. You don't have to be like me. You can be like yourself, but practicing compassion and acceptance to all, because basically this is quantum living. When you understand it, it's like we're all just part of the big picture here, all part of the oneness, and we're all brothers and sisters of the earth. If you come down to it, finding a way to connect and respect is a great thing. And so letting people be, live and let live. So back to mental health, things we can do to proactively be healthy. A. At the very, 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 very least, you can do what I'm doing here, just record your voice so you get the thoughts out and you at least get it out of your head. Because sometimes when I do these episodes and I'll say stuff, I was like, wow, I don't know if I really want to go deeper down that rabbit hole, but it felt great to vocalize it. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I really said that? Maybe I need to check myself before I wreck myself. So there's that. But you can always, hold on a second. Hey there, Siri, I'm awake. I've been awake for a long time. But anyway, you can also journal, write things down on paper. If you don't even want to do that, draw, just get things out of your system. The other thing is talk to people. Even if it's the difficult conversation that someone's rubbing you the wrong way, or even if they're rubbing you the right way, say, hey, thank you for rubbing me the right way. Please continue doing so. There's those different things. And I think it's healthy to communicate. And what I find is many, many, many people live in a pressure cooker mentality where they just let things build up and then it's like it turns into like the boiling point. Just imagine a pressure cooker, and what happens if you stand above it with your face and you flip the lid off? You're gonna get it socked in the jaw. And it doesn't have to be like that. If people were just honest and open, but compassionately honest and open. If you have an issue or you have a concern or if you have a need that's not met, vocalize it. Don't jokalize it. Okay, I'm going to jokalize this conversation and enjoy my mind over matter day, because back to it all full circle, when you take care of your brain, there is less pain. Oh, that's a good slogan. Maybe it should be a t-shirt or a bumper sticker on that one. Hi, Johnny. Thank you for listening to the Who the Heaven Is I podcast. If you care, please do share. Have a great day, and I will talk to you sometime between now and later.